What's going on, America? This is Kevin in Kevin's Corner, and I left a message for Diamond and Silk via Twitter because I'm learning the Twitter, everybody. Yeah, I left a message for them talking about how proud I was and how they represented themselves when they was in Congress, testifying about Facebook censoring them. And I told them, I said, you know what, even though I gave an overall viewpoint of how that all went down, there was one person in particular that I wanted to focus on one-on-one, okay? And that person is none other than, let me see what his name is, Hank Johnson. That's that guy, the first brother who happened to, wait, let me put it in quotes, first brother who happened to question Diamond and Silk during the congressional hearing. Now, Diamond and Silk said that Facebook deemed them to be unsafe to the community. These two gentle black women who was once on the Democratic plantation, but now all of a sudden they've come off the plantation and decide to become very vocal and opinionated about the Democratic Party and Barack Obama. Now all of a sudden they have been deemed unsafe to the community. That means when I'm walking around or driving around in my community, I should be looking for Diamond and Silk like, I hope I don't run into them. They pretty unsafe. They look pretty scary to me. Well, the reason they're saying that is because they're unsafe to the Democratic agenda. That's what it comes down to. They're unsafe to the narrative that they're trying to push, that all black people are liberal and committed, undyingly committed to the Democratic Party. That's who they're really unsafe to. They're unsafe to the agenda that a lot of these liberal media giants are pushing. That's what they're really unsafe to. And I tell you, after watching Hank interview them, or at least question them, I've concluded that's really unsafe to our community is these bootleg congressional black leaders. They're the real people who's unsafe, because what they're doing is they are selling the African American community and other minorities, and for that case, all of America, right down the tubes for power, for money, and their party. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's break this down real quick. Hank, I hope he's watching. All right. First of all, he opens up by listing all of the political agenda of the Democrats. He's trying to really make everybody focus on the talking points of the Democratic Party, like these are the most important things. Starts off with this preacher voice, and we could be here talking about Facebook and how they helped Trump get elected. Now, remember, this has nothing to do with President Trump, okay? This is about Diamond and Silk being censored. But this man wants to immediately see, I don't know what they do in their little chambers and their meetings. I guess it's like one of those things where you have to, they said, look, if you're going to go out and talk about anything, I don't care what the topic is, somehow tie Trump in to it and use that as an opportunity to make him look bad. Don't really focus on what the real issue is. Somehow bring that issue full circle and pivot it right back to discrediting and undermining Trump. And if the person who you're talking to happens to be a Trump supporter, then don't focus on their issue. Focus on the fact that they must have a relationship with Trump. Therefore, that's why their issue is an issue. Maybe if they weren't tied to Trump, then they wouldn't have any problems. That's what you want to tie in together. So he starts off by going down and putting these subliminal messages into the minds of the listeners concerning Donald Trump. He said, we could be here talking about how Trump got elected with the help of Facebook, how the Russian interference with the presidential election helped Trump get elected, how Russian hacking into state election processes, how legislation, we could be talking about legislation to protect the Mueller investigation. Now, these are all left-wing Democratic talking points, all designed to destroy Donald Trump. Stuff like Facebook helped Trump get elected, but now he's about to defend Facebook in a few seconds to fit his agenda. Or the Russian interference, which none of that had to do with Trump getting elected, but they want to keep that fresh in the minds of the people who don't see through their garbage, and they want them to continue to think, well, yeah, maybe they did have something to do with Trump getting elected. Surely he couldn't have got elected based on the fact that he had a better message, or the fact that he outworked Hillary Clinton like 10-1, or maybe on the fact that his message resonated with the American people a lot more than hers, because her message was just simply resist him. He's an evil man. He's a racist, misogynist, and so on and so forth. It couldn't be none of that stuff. Nah, it has to be the Russians interfered. Then he goes on about how Russia hacked into our state election processes, the same ones that now we don't want Trump and his cabinet to investigate, though, to make sure they're all safe and to gather all the data to make sure there's no voter fraud. We don't need none of that, though. But yet we could be talking about. See, that's all the Democrats want to do is just talk about it. They don't want to fix stuff, right? Because then he goes on to talk about, we could be talking about gun control, because we all know what their agenda is concerning that, right? Yeah, they don't want solutions. They just want to take the guns. They want to control the situation. Let's get all those guns, and that should solve the problem. How did that work out for, say, England, where people taking cars, running people over, or the knife situation where they're now talking about banning knives, because guess what humans do? Adapt. So if I can't kill you with a knife, I'll hit you with a rock. If I can't hit you with a rock, I'll run you over. Do whatever if I'm nuts. But nonetheless, it's the guns. That's the problem. Then he goes on to say we could be talking about the DREAM Act, which we abandoned when President Trump gave us what we wanted, but we didn't really want that, see? No, we wanted to continue arguing so that when the midterm elections come up, we have something to run on by saying Donald Trump doesn't like Mexicans and immigrants, and he was against giving you guys, the dreamers, giving you guys some type of citizenship. But then when he said, here you go, here's the citizenship, let's just go ahead and fix the border situation, okay? Because see, if I'm gonna give all these people citizenship, okay, we don't want to have to do it again in a couple years, so let's plug the leak, okay? That's like if my basement's flooded, I want to plug the hole first, then clean the water out, see? Because if I don't do that, and I'm cleaning the water out, but I didn't plug the hole, there's more water still coming in. Do you understand that? That's logical. But see, liberals don't work in logic. That's not important to them. That's not important, see, because they like that leak, see. So he said, yeah, we could be talking about, see, not fixing, talking about the DREAM Act. And then he goes on to draw a conclusion. But instead, we are here giving a platform to Diamond and Silk. Now, here it comes, y'all. He straight up just draws a comparison, a distinction between levels of importance. All of these issues are important, but these two black women who are conservative, why are we wasting our time on them? Why are we giving them a platform? Now, if those two were legal immigrants who said, Donald Trump, he came into my house, he sent the people, they come into my house, they take me and they break me and my kids up, and you know, they take me back to Mexico, and then my kids, you stay here, and I had to go there, and they do that, and you know what would happen? They would say, give these people 17 hours to talk about how evil Donald Trump is and how his policies broke their family up. And we need to give attention to every single individual who's been violated and discriminated against. But now Diamond and Silk's up there, and he's like, but instead, we are here giving a platform to Diamond and Silk. And I'm thinking, you big old nice guy. See, I'm trying to change my ways, y'all. Pray for me. Let me lay hands. Okay, and I'm back. So now, this man draws a distinction. He just straight lowers them. And he's trying to really attack Congress for putting this thing together by saying, you know what? Y'all are foolish to give these ladies a platform for this silliness when we got all these important things we should be acting like we're doing, but we're not really doing it. We're just talking stuff about it and using it for a political football. But nonetheless, let me get back to what I was saying. So he goes on to talk about how we gave them a platform. And then he says, and you all have made tons of money. And that's the first thing you want to go to, because, see, everybody feels like if you make more money, see, it's the Democrats' theory. If you're making money, you're evil. Even though all of these Democratic pimps, those guys are lining their pockets. Nobody gets in their pockets. Nobody's saying, you know what, how much money you make last year, Senator? or governor or mayor or whatever. I don't care. If you're doing it legally, I don't have a reason to question you. But they have figured a way to always vet people who are entrepreneurs and making money against those that feel disenfranchised. See, it's always, oh, so the rich getting richer, you making money, and look at the little man. So money is now evil. So he said, you have made tons of money. So what if they did? What's that got to do with you? Huh, Hank? What that got to do with you? You made tons of money race baiting all these years. Okay? We're not saying anything about your cheese, but nonetheless made tons of money. And they said, no, we didn't. And then he goes on to bring in a subject that has nothing to do with the fact that these women had been silenced on Facebook. They've been censored. He talks about, well, didn't Donald Trump introduce y'all at a rally? What that got to do with you? That's my point. What that got to do with the censorship? Huh? Oh, so I guess since I'm friends with Donald Trump and he supports what I'm doing, now all of a sudden Facebook has the right to censor me? I guess that's the connection you're making, Hank? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. But all things have to tie back to how evil and wicked Donald Trump is. And if you're cool with him, then you're reaping the benefits of that wickedness, okay? All right, that's what they're trying to say. So he says, didn't he introduce y'all at a rally trying to discredit their claim based on their affiliation with Donald Trump? That's what that is. And then he goes on to say, you all have been running around bashing Facebook, making tons of money. They said, man, we ain't bashed Facebook. We exposed Facebook. There's a difference, Hank, okay? And you should be able to see that. But no, you're blinded by your hatred and your own motive to make money and to discredit Donald Trump and to try to get your party back in power because you don't really care about the little man. You don't care about these sisters. That's what you don't care about. Yet you're so open-minded and so embracive and inclusive, right? I wonder sometime who's the real sellouts. They try to make it seem like black Republicans or conservatives are sellouts, but yet when it comes down to standing up for two obvious black women, these ain't, they nothing about them scream sellout, okay? They are black. I mean, you can't mistake that. They didn't get up to like, well, now, in the first time, these sisters was up there like, look, let me tell you something, all right? So if you're judging how black a person is by their cultural display of behaviors, if I'm a black person and I'm looking at them two sisters and I grew up in a predominantly black area, I'm going, now see, they got to believe what they talking about because I can tell they are true sisters, okay? There's no mistaking that, all right? So for Hank to get up there and try to discredit what their claims are based on their affiliation with Trump is garbage, okay? Then he goes on to say y'all been bashing Facebook to make tons of money and trying to discredit them. And they're like, we are exposing them. But yet at the same time, the Democrats have been bashing Facebook too. Because they've been saying Facebook allowed the Russians to run some bots. And you know what else they did? Facebook, they so mean and evil because they let them spend like $200,000 on ads. And all of that stuff contributed to our leader, the wise old Hillary Clinton, losing. That's what it did. Had nothing to do with that. I hope you all know that. But nonetheless, that's what they like to push. They was bashing Facebook. In fact, they're the ones that wanted Facebook to come into Congress and testify. Yes, Hank, we could have been focused on how we can clog up the border and stop illegal immigrants from coming over here. We could have been focused on North Korea or Iran. We could have been focused on our economy. We could have been focused on how many black young men have been killed in Chicago. We could have been focused on how the inner city school systems are collapsing under Democratic control. Well, yeah, we could have been focused on how our military has been depleted, but now this new administration is putting more money into our military. We could have been focused on all of these important things, but instead, we are given time to bring in Mark Zuckerberg to talk about a false narrative and try to push this fake, phony Russian narrative to justify us getting our butts beat during the 2016 election. That's what we really did. Wasted everybody's time. Didn't even put Mark Zuckerberg under oath, but yet we put these two black sisters under oath. Yes, you get it, Hank? So, anyway, what I'm trying to say is he goes on to talk about how they just trying to bash Facebook to make money. And then comes in with this, because they start ripping him, you know what I mean? And they was telling, man, now Facebook said we unsafe to the community. And he says, well, you're still selling merchandise. So what? That has nothing to do with the fact that they were censored, Hank. And my question to you is, why are you trying to defend Facebook? Aren't you supposed to be for the citizens, bruh? I'm sorry. Y'all see that face? I got to let that one sink in. Bruh. Anyway, getting back to what I'm saying. Final point. Let me wrap this up. So, Diamond and Silk, they point out how sorry our Democratic leaders are and how quick they are to sell black people out based on political affiliation. And to wrap it up, he goes on to say, well, you know, diamonds are a girl's best friend. And one of the sisters were like, yep, and they hard too. They'll cut you. And that's what they did. They was cutting his tail up. You know what they should do? I'm telling you, all the Republicans that are running in the 2018 primary, y'all need to take sound bites from all of these sorry behind black congressional Democratic leaders and how they attacked two sisters, you know, concerning something that had nothing to do with them. They're going to defend Facebook and attack these two sisters. You should take sound bites of Diamond and Silk ripping them up and run it 24 hours all day. Diamond and Silk ripping them up. Because guess who gave a platform to these sisters to talk about how they've been censored? Not the dirty Dems, not all the brothers and sisters in Congress that's looking out for the little man. No, it was the Republican Party. Yep, and Diamond and Silk thanked them and gave a little infomercial too. It's like, yep, and you know what? I want to thank them. I want to thank the Republican Party for doing this. Y'all didn't do it. It was like, and you know what? Like Diamond and Silk on Facebook, find us on Twitter. They gave a shout out. And I'm glad they did, because for the black congressional Democratic leaders who's supposed to be helping promote all the brothers and sisters, they are very selective of who they want to help based on political affiliation. So they set up there, exposed them, and then he had the nerve to conclude with this. And my conclusion too, and this is what really made me want to go pow right in the kisser. All right. When he had the nerve to say, I get that, because he had to change the point when they started exposing his hypocrisy and his supportiveness of everybody but black conservatives. See, yeah. So now all of a sudden they expose that, and he finished. I get that, and I admire your game. And he says, you know, but I just find it strange that Congress would stoop. Now, here's the negative term: belittling their cause, belittling their situation, belittling the fact that they are two women who are black entrepreneurs and conservative, but yet was censored by a Big Faces Corporation who all the Democrats talk about they hate. Big Faces Corporations, yeah, they're not for the little man. They're always trying to put their foot on our back because we're black, keep us down on the ground because we're brown. But now all of a sudden, Facebook did nothing wrong because you guys are conservative supporters of Trump. Yeah, so no, your complaints up here, that doesn't matter to us right now. No, but if it was something else that was lined up with our agenda, then we'd be all over it. Yeah, that's what we do. We shut down Congress. We would stand 8 hours, to defend somebody else if it meets our agenda. But for you guys, that's not important to us. That's not important. So we're going to go ahead and say that Congress stooped down to this level to give you guys a platform. How disrespectful is that, Hank? And that's why I had to make this video. And I'm sorry, it went a little bit long. But I had to focus on this one because this dude had the nerve to say stoop down on this level as if this was beneath us as congressmen. That's what it was. We're above really focusing on people like you all. Keep that in mind when you vote in 2018. God bless you. Find me on Facebook, Twitter. If you want to support Kevin's Corner, there's links in the bottom to do so. Keep it up, Diamond and Silk. right all up under here with them. Knockout blows. God bless.